Welcome everybody to the PlayStation Open Series Tier 1, coming to you from the Zandvoort circuit. I'm Scotty. I'll be one and only commentator this evening. 40 unfortunately couldn't make it this evening. As we've got Jay in the chat, fully dry, so nice and simple for the drivers. They'll have their strategies worked out. As we'll go on board Prezzo, I think he may be the first one on an out lap. So Zandvoort, we've got 14 corners around this tight and twisty circuit. Circuit length is about 4.3 Ks. These guys will be doing 36 laps around this circuit. Your usual strat should be medium hard. Softs will only last about 8 laps around here. But what we'll do is we'll follow Prezzo on board for his lap. Coming down the main straight now. Activate DRS. Car moving out of the way for him around turn 1 hairpin. Got to be careful around some of these curbs as he comes through to and around this gorgeous banked turn 3. Mercedes is getting out of the way there. Tight and twisty, full throttle through 4, 5, around 6, around 7 now. No pigeons in the game, which is good for these drivers as he comes through the first sector line and starts the middle sector. Nice pace, fairly smooth so far for Prezzo on his first flying lap. Around the length, just hit that curb and he's around. So unfortunate for him. We'll go as Entei sets the first flyer, 1:11.7. So not a bad lap time from him. We'll see how some of the other guys go. Orphan Drop currently on his lap now. So coming across the final corner, be careful of touching the curb. Full throttle around the last corner, activating DRS, and he'll come across the line and does a 1:17.3. So that was his, sort of must have made a mistake, backed out, so he may go again as Clarence goes, or an Orphan has a spin first corner. Luckily no damage, you'll just have to be careful of the rejoin. As we'll go towards Aussie Powers. And we got both Red Bulls around turn 1, unfortunately. Definitely a difficult track with low traction, so these drivers will have to be careful and possibly not get caught out. As we've got one of the Ferraris, by the look of it, and that's coming in. Deadly just stuck on his teammate there, Banana. We have just about coming around finishing his lap. Yellow flag just getting out of the way for McLaren. A little bit twitchy on that curb. Coming through the last corner now. DRS. What can Banana do? Jumps himself up to P2 and 11.7, but still half a second behind Giles. That's improved to us at 11.1. So Giles definitely the quick man to beat, like he was last week. Just unfortunate with a couple of spins, so hopefully he can find a little bit more consistency in the race. And but yeah, with pace like that, he'll definitely be a contender. And Jedley goes P4 for Mercedes. He was the super sub last week, got a podium for AlphaTauri, so can he do it again with the Mercedes this time around? So interesting to see, but that's a nice starting banker lap for him. Twitch Liddy goes into P7 on a 12.2. So you'll find with the track conditions, you should have track evolution, and these times should get a little bit quicker, but the times will be very close together, as that was Aussie Powers just getting out of the way. So we've just got one driver left that hasn't set a lap time. So Junkyard Dog just waiting a little bit before coming out. Prezzo, he is burning RS, so going for another lap on these soft tyres. And he spins through turn 7. So that's going to be another spot these drivers will have to be careful of, and luckily enough Ghosty is on in this game. We got Deputy, he's driving slowly, he'll go into the pits. Snickers Bud, he's into the pits as well. See who's another driver on track at the moment. Grimmy has done a nice time on 1:11.3, so he's only about a 10th off Giles. He'd be somewhat happy how it went last week. I know he's definitely one of the top guys in this league, so he's got something a little bit to prove tonight. And he'll be in this lap as well. So just guys coming in, changing their sets of soft tyres. Being that it's a very short lap around here, you can get 4 runs on your softs. So if you can get out early, yeah, definitely a chance to do 4 runs around here. So as we'll stick on forward with Combat, we'll follow his lap around while everyone else comes out. So he's burning a little bit of ERS. So another fly, we'll see what his time to the first sector is. 24.9, so he's 2 tenths up, so he'll have no ERS to burn for the rest of the lap. But he probably will only really need it through this back straight and at the end of the lap. He feels that he's definitely got more pace on these old softs. Oh, and he spun around as well in that spot as we've seen a couple of the other drivers. So turn 10 is going to be another corner that people definitely have to watch out for. As we got Entei come across the line, he just sit at an 11.7, so he went slightly quicker that time. So he's into the top 3 as we follow Giles on his lap, the man that got an 11.2 off the back. So how much more pace has he got in him? Coming through this high speed sector now, he's found time, he's got either 10th and a half up. Coming through this middle sector now, staying off the outside curb there. Nice line. I think the Mercedes just getting out of the way for him. A bit of a twitch through there, yeah, and he sort of lost it. So he'll definitely back out, go for another run for him. As we go, Junkyard Dog did set his time, so he's done a 12.9. Orphan Drop just coming across the line now. This maybe just start his new lap. Bit of a twitch out there. Beautiful shot coming through turn 4. That hairpin's, yeah, really nice. And with the banks, you can possibly do multiple lines through there if you're close enough. Oh, and he's spun again, Orphan. A couple of spins he's had. First at turn 1, now turn 7. So as he just takes out the 100-meter board, so hopefully everyone else will be able to still somewhat spot their braking zone if they don't use line. As we go to Twitch, Liddy, is he on a flyer at the moment? He's marginally improved his time. Coming across this, just touching the curb just a little bit. Coming through the little second to now this left-hander onto the back straight. Definitely left room to not touch that curb, as we've seen a few guys already tonight spin off of. He's got 3 tenths up, so this will move him into the 9s, into the 11.9s, which will put him into a possible top 6 at the moment. Coming around the final corner now, activate DRS. How much can Twitch let he improve? He does an 11.8 as Prezzo goes to the top, right behind him on an 11 flat. So really nice lap. Will we see? Oh, and I believe that would have been Clarence in turn 1. So can we see any of these guys dip into the into the 10s as Grimmy just behind, only 400s behind him. Nearly bet Prezzo, but again, so close to that 10. You'd feel Giles on his third attempt, he may be able to jump into the 10s. What about Gently? As we follow him, he's currently not on his lap. Follow Banana. He's marginally up on his lap. So how well can he go through? Just while we're on Banana's lap, just looking at last week's results, we only had one incident that got reviewed by the stewards. Bompton received a 5-second 1 license point for his incident, so that dropped him from 11th down to 12th. Still managing to score points, but just dropped him a position. But other than that, it was a fairly clean race from the guys, so hopefully we can see some more tonight. We saw some hard, clean racing, so it'd be very nice to see some more. As we've got Entei coming through. Oh, and he spun coming in around turn 10. So turn 10, as well as turn 1 and turn 7, definitely some difficulty spots for these guys. Maybe that little bit of cloud cover, maybe not as warm. People aren't getting their tyre temps up properly. So definitely something to watch. As we've got Giles coming through, he'll just cross the second sector line now. He's gone purple middle sector. 10th and a bit up. That'll put him in contention for pole. What can he do around this last sector? Coming around the second last corner. Keeping it nice and smooth, not taking too much curve. Around the final corner. He'll come across the line. And he goes pole on a 10.8. So very, very nice time from Giles. So I was wondering if we can get anyone into the 10s. We got our main man that got pole, I believe, last week. So yeah, Giles definitely got the pace at the moment, but Prezzo, Grimmy definitely in a chance with their final runs to come. As Combat has improved up to 5th on 11.5, so he's definitely in contention as well. Banana's into the pits as we got Orphan drop. Hasn't been able to currently set a lap time, just had a couple of spins, so at his 4 seconds up, which obviously being on a 17.3, not a bad first sector compared to the top guys. Turn 10 now, that was a better exit. DRS 5.8. That's definitely in contention if you can hook up this last sector. Cars just sitting out, getting out of the way, which has been good. Haven't seen any blocks as of yet. He'll come across the line now. And he'll go top 5 on an 11.4. So good lap from Orphan. Sort of needed that to build his confidence a little bit. Alright, so everyone else is either in the pit lane or coming out on the outlaps ready for their final runs. So any final tweaks maybe to their front wing. Did a bit more downforce, tyre pressures. Oh, and Orphan's gone around again. Surely that would have had to been at least a little bit of front wing damage. Orphan's, yeah, he's definitely sort of struggling. Maybe trying to find the limits as his tyres are still too hot. Trying to get it around. Definitely with these guys having to be careful if they do have a moment and their tyres get too hot, just take it easy, trying to recover. Otherwise they'll just have multiple spins and just massive time loss. We'll follow Mercedes now. Deadly. He's found a little bit more time, so track evolution definitely a possibility. Kept us moved a little bit wide through there. That gives enough room off the curbs. Deactivates DRS. what his time looks to the sector 2 line. He's up by about a 10. He'll keep him in 4th, so he'll need to find a lot of time in this last sector. Nice run through there, coming around the last corner now. What can he do? Comes across the line. He does find 2/10 just behind Grimmy, so there's less than a 10th covering 2nd and 4th. Oh, and Grimmy must have just had an incident and reset to track, which is, we obviously don't want to see the guys reset to track. There's Bananas stunning us up. The other McLaren. Deputy just currently on his outlap. Metz staying currently up by a 10th. Both past drivers at the back, so they'll definitely need to. Oh, and he's hit the wall, unfortunately. So whether he got put off a little bit by his teammate there, or just another issue, that will definitely affect his final run. So Junkyard Dog doesn't look like he's got ERS to use, so he might be done. As Snickers Bud, he's spun at turn 3, so definitely got time to get out of the way. As we look for, we'll go the Alpha Tauri now. Oh, and that's in validation, and he's hit the wall. Here we go, Giles, he's spun as well. So a lot of these guys struggling, and Snickers Bud means disqualified. So unfortunately he'll lose that 13th spot and start from the back of the grid. Preza now is on his outlap. As you've got Jet Li, he's in, so he's done. About the Aston Martin, which Liddy, he moves up to P7 on an 11.5. So very tight in that midfield, from Orphan down to Combat Wombat. So a lot of these guys, Giles, his lap would be finished. Banana, I think he just finished a lap. Combat's up, coming into the last sector. DRS coming across the line, what can he do? Combat up to 5th, nice time, an 11.1, and just behind the gaggle of cars. We got Ente's up. He's up by a couple of tenths. So can he join that battle to be in the top 5? He'll come across the line. DRS. And he goes an 11.4, so he jumps up past Orphan Drop into the top 6. So nice job from Ente there at the end. Aussie Powers, he's down 8/10. So I believe, as Twitchley comes in, so I believe that is our grid. So Giles, only man in the 10s, gets pole by just under 2/10, so really nice lap from him. There's Aussie Powers just spinning, so yeah, a lot of these guys just having a few issues on these quali laps, maybe overly pushing. As Governor Arnold says in the chat, Orphan needs a bit more wing. I think a few of these guys may need a bit more wing, so it'd be interesting to see, as Aussie's Powers just with those hot tyres, it's just interesting to see what downforce these guys are running. Have guys elected to run more downforce just for the grip in the middle sector, or have they gone with a little less downforce to try and make overtakes? Maybe the guys down the field, or people not necessarily confident with their one lap pace, gone a little bit lower just to try and make passes. With the real life Formula 1, that DRS zone's been extended. Unfortunately we won't have it in the game, but hopefully we can still have some good battles throughout. And yeah, definitely we saw a lot of mistakes there in that first session, but Giles, pole again. By just over 1.5 tenths from Prezzo, Grimmy, Jedley, Combat Wombat to get into the top 5. Ente, Orphan Drop, Banana, Twitch, and Aussie Powers rounds out your top 10. Basile, Clarence, Deputy, Met, Junkyard, and Snickers Bud will be your 16 drivers. Snickers Bud unfortunately got disqualified. I believe he was 13th at the time, so it'll be interesting to see what tyres these guys start on, and with the amount of spins that we saw, will we possibly see a few safety cars? No one managed to retire on track, but it doesn't take much to lose one of those front wheels. So, and we've seen track can be very slippery, and with the heavy fuel load, very easy to just run wide at a couple of these corners, and you just hit these curbs wrong, and they can spin you off into the wall. So we'll just take a minute to let this lobby load in, and then we'll be back for the start of the race. Start this formation lap. Just trying to get Aussie Powers back into the session. If one of the other drivers can hear me, just try and get him an invite. If they can. While we do that, I'll bring out the tyre selection. So, majority of the guys have gone mediums. Banana, one of the only ones that started with softs, wants to be a bit aggressive on the start, and Snickers Buds starting hards. So he's wanting to go long. Maybe a late safety car could play into it. So I'll just go on board with Aussie. He hasn't quite gone in yet, so hopefully we can get him in. So yeah, Banana will definitely want to be aggressive, see if he can make up a couple of spots on this restart. Oh, sorry, on this start, and then he'll be in early, but will definitely want to make the speed work. Maybe he's thinking soft hard. Tested it for mediums. I think I pitted around 18. They were about 50%, I believe. So he's thinking stretch softs and then go long on the hards. Maybe thinking of an early safety car. Track position around here is pretty important, being that it's really the only massive overtaking zone will be at the end of turn 1. But putting pressure on the driver in front, as we saw in quali, drivers have been tending to make mistakes. So jump on board. Orphan drop disqualified from the session. You got a couple of drivers that dropped. So we got 5 lights, and we're underway for the Dutch GP as we've got Prezzo and Giles getting a good start. Combat Wombat from 5th up to 3rd already. Clean start through the field so far, which is good. Prezzo managed to jump Giles, so nice start from Giles. We got any side by side coming through the field. That Williams Banana, I believe he's made up 1 spot. Definitely looking to be aggressive through the field, as it's all sort of settled at the front. So it's sort of one line through a lot of these corners. As Banana definitely looking for a way past Orphan Drop at the moment. Oh, and we've got a yellow flag. That's My Name is Jeff, spun at the back, unfortunately. Oh, and that Ente's gone wide, which will open the door up for Banana. So he's made the move on off and drop, and now he's got the move past Ente. So Banana definitely making ground on this opening lap. Definitely wants to get past the cars so he can keep with the leaders, especially because he will be pitting a lot earlier than these guys up ahead. As we've got Groomy only 3/10 behind Jedley, so will he be looking for a move down at turn 1? Thinks about it, decides to stick back out of it, which is a good shout from him. Just sit behind DRS, will get activated next lap. As we look at the leader, Prezzo just keeping the gap to about half a second. These guys just trying to find a rhythm, but the top two definitely have pace over Combat. So Combat will want to try and hold on and see if he can get back to within DRS range. As we've got Deputy right behind Aussie Powers, which he is back in, which is really good news. So sort of roughly, as I quickly bring up the position change, he's only lost one spot, which is good, so he hasn't lost too much from being lagged out. As Deputy, nice move. Oh, as Aussie fights him back. Deputy will have the better race line through. If you think about the move, no, he'll just hold off. As we quickly go back up, Groomy, still 3/10 gap as Joel sets the fastest lap. So staying right with Prezzo there. Groomy just sit back as DRS gets enabled. As we've got Twitch Lily right behind Seal. As Deputy finally makes the move on Aussie Powers, makes it stick. So, and Aussie into the wall, unfortunately, so I believe that's right. Wing damage, and the other Alpine and Twitch Lily. So we've had 3 spins there. So that's definitely a corner that if you hit that curb or you're just not quite stable enough, you can definitely lose the back end there. So we saw Aussie Powers go, and then we saw Twitch Lily and Snickers Bud follow him through, and just sort of wanted to help him out and just sort of make a little bit of a parking spot. Luckily enough, ghosting was on, so the only damage there would have been from Aussie Power, so he'll have to come in. We go back to the front, Giles just about half a second off the leader. We'll see how effective DRS is coming down this main straight, activated for the first time. So activate and see how much ARS he's not burning, so he's just happy to sit behind as Banana on those softs sets the fastest lap. As we got Grimmy and Jedley nearly going side by side into turn 1. Jedley manages to hold the spot, but Grimmy and Banana definitely got a lot of pace. Banana will definitely be wanting to try and get this move done on these guys before his softs start to wear massively. So we've got a big train now behind Combat Wombat. So Jedley having to defend from Grimmy, but he's also catching Combat. So Combat will have to watch his mirrors come these main straights. Got a bit of a gap now, but yeah, definitely Combat looking as Prezzo's had a moment, and Giles right there with him. Giles around the outside, decides to tuck back in. He's very close, so if you can line up these next couple of corners, have a really nice run on Prezzo coming through the final corner, and with DRS possibly thinking about a move. Lost a little bit through there, but he's still definitely close enough. Activate DRS, burns a little ERS. Definitely thinks about it. Prezzo holds on. So Giles didn't burn a lot of ERS coming down that main straight, but he's definitely got the pace there. As we got Deputy and Clarence going side by side. Clarence, I believe, holds that position. So Deputy right on his tail, but definitely battles coming through out the field so far, and it looks like that if you can sort of follow enough, you can have a decent chance. But we've seen a few of these guys just running a little bit wide and opening the door, so definitely just want to feel the tyres out. these mediums should be heated up quite nicely now. Banana still managing to hold the pack. I believe those softs might just be right, but I have a feeling they'll start dying off in the next couple of laps, but he's definitely in this train. So we've got a yellow flag, and that's Aussie Powers on the hards, unfortunately spinning. As Jedley sort of wide through there. Banana had a very nice run through there. Predator sets the fastest lap. Banana would have definitely thought about a move there if Jedley didn't have DRS off the back of Combat, but Jedley is right there. So Combat makes a mistake, he can definitely capitalise on it. So tight tussle. Grim's just sort of fallen off the back of this. I think Banana did make a pass on him, so just trying to recover from that. Wants to get back into this DRS. This Banana, just look at the grip that he's got through there. Just so much more comfortable through these corners. Right on board with him. Gets a nice run. A bit wide through there, but he'll have DRS to come back. Obviously his problem is that with Jedley having DRS to the guy in front, he can't really use the advantage of those softs. Needs Jedley to be able to make a move on Combat. Combat doing a nice job holding him off, but this battle's really letting the top two get away. So the top two have to be careful not to, as we've got Jedley making the move on Combat. So that's exactly what he needed to do, and now Banana will definitely want to try and follow him straight through, but Combat won't want to let that position go so easily. I believe we've got Aussie Powers around again at the same spot at turn 8, so definitely a bit hard. Maybe those hards are doing it, and Banana, nice move around Combat there. Unusual spot, but the drive out of the corner at turn 4 just helped him so much. So we'll see how quickly he can get onto the back of Jedley again. So Banana didn't lose DRS, so they'll be able to help. Jedley won't have anybody to help defend. So Banana managing the gap about 6/10. Might not go for a move this time round, but definitely want to hold on. But hopefully for him, his soft tyres are still feeling alright, but they'll start feeling the wear now. After 7 laps, you can probably go 8 laps comfortably before they really start dropping off. So we're at the 8th lap now, so we'll see how he goes as Grimmy makes a nice move on Combat, manages to hold it. Combat thinking about possibly another thing. Oh, and who we lost? That's just Aussie Powers, I believe, just spinning again. Hopefully that didn't put off any of the front guys. As Grimmy holds that P5. Banana within half a second of Jedley, so he's still definitely got some good pace compared to Jedley. As we'll quickly switch to this battle for the top 2. Giles still just sitting behind Prezzo. I think he's just happy to sit there, save a bit of ARS. Both of them have got about 60 in the 60s, so they're not burning too much. I think they're just comfortably happy just to sort of play it smart, have a bit of a gap to the rest of the field. So they may be able to extend their mediums just a little bit longer, gives them a bit of breathing room. Giles about 4/10 coming out of that last corner. Still not burning ARS, so he's definitely happy just to sit behind him for the time being. Prezzo did burn a little bit there. As we go back to this battle, Grimmy, big dive bomb on Banana. Still side by side. Can they come through turn 3? Banana still got the inside line. Banana on the inside line, definitely nice defensive move, but Grimmy got the better run through there. So can he have a look at this move through turn 7? Oh, Grim thought about the outside. Definitely not a great spot to overtake, but he's right on the back. As I think those soft tyres are starting to go off and don't count out Combat. there's anything that happens, he'll be licking his lips, trying to look for a way through, and Grim got a much better exit through that, so Banana's softs are definitely going off as Grim thinks about the outside. Banana, good defensive action, as we've got the other McLaren of Deputy has spun, unfortunately, so we'll keep eyes on this action. So will Grimmy think about a move again on Banana? Oh, as we got Combat, he's taken advantage as they go side by side. Combat just off there and gets the move done. So I was looking at thinking Grim might have the move on Banana, but Combat must have got a really nice exit coming out of those last couple of corners to take advantage. It's definitely burnt a lot of ERS to do it, but now he's back up into 5th. So really nice hard, fair racing from these guys. But while these guys are battling, Jedley has been able to get a 2.5 second gap, so that's helped him. So he's eased the pressure off him. So as we get back to this race with Banana, he's got no ARS. Oh, Combat does a bit of a switcheroo. Banana defends it well, but this is a very, very tight pack. And Grimmy's right on the back of Combat, so as Banana does go in, those softs were dead, so he'll switch possibly to the hards as Grim looks for a move, as Banana unfortunately speeds into pit lane as Grim up the inside. Still side by side. Combat just managing to hold on, had a bit of a better exit through turn 1, so he'll hold that position. But what this has done, Orphan Drop, he's now sitting on the back of this pack just waiting for a chance. But again, all 3 of these drivers just no ARS as we've got a Haas around. I believe that's Metz again at turn 3. So definitely turn 3's causing a few issues for some of these drivers as we go back to the battle for 4th. Combat, nice aerial shot as Grim, does he think about a move up the inside, or he thought about it, backs out of it. Well, but Combat just went a little bit deep through there, defending. Grimmy thinking about it, Orphan Drop right there too. Combat definitely needs to get a nice exit out of here. No one has ARS to use, but DRS from Grimmy got a nice exit. Side by side. Oh, Grimmy gets the move done. Combat thought about hanging around the outside, just didn't get the traction off the corner. Combat will he think about a move into the hairpin? No, he'll just sit behind. So it's now Grim's. He's got a bit of fresh air now, so can he pull away a little bit? Is his medium still in the right window for him to be able to push? And can he break Combat a little bit and sort of get a bit of a gap so he can sort of defend from DRS usage from behind? As we've got Metz into the pit, so he's first one off those meds. So he'll go to the hards to the end, I believe, as Grimmy has done a good job. He's gapped Combat by 7/10, exactly what he needed through that middle sector. So Combat, he might be struggling with his tyres a little bit after those battles, and Orphan Drop, he's looking to take advantage. The gap's just a little bit out. Orphan had a bit of a twitch through that corner as Orphan Drop, he's thinking about a bit of an undercut, get it off those mediums and onto the hards. Obviously just being careful of the warm-up as Grimmy gets a maintains the gap, so pressure's off him a little bit now as we jump up to our top 2. These 2 have been together pretty much the whole race. Joel's just sitting back looking at ERS. Joel's just has a little bit more now, so Prezzo's having to burn a little bit more to sort of keep Prezzo behind. Come coming through turn 10 now. DRS activated. Will he try and line up this move for the main straight? He's definitely close enough, only 3/10. Prezzo just with maybe a little bit of dirty air. Joel's just struggling a little bit on just the corner exit, which is giving Prezzo a reprieve. And it's about 4/10 again coming out of the last corner. So using DRS as Mets unfortunately gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in pit lane. So that's the only 2 penalties at the moment, 2 for speeding in pit lane. As we have a McLaren around, that's deputy again, which these guys will be coming up to as Grim sets the fastest lap on those 13 lap old mediums. So he's definitely got pace when he's not behind another car. So he's definitely got the pace. The combat is now in, as we got a battle between the AlphaTauri and the Mercedes. Contact, and Vasil around as he tries to line it up as guys take evasive action. Combat coming out of the pits into that mess which he didn't want as he tries to warm up his hards. He's going to have to be careful. That Haas definitely got better grip and gets past him. But Combat's going to have to sort of fight through this traffic a little bit. He's got pace. So you've got to have to be careful. Same with Orphan Drop. Contact. Or whether that was a little bit of lag on their part, but yeah, that sort of looked a bit like a tap in the rear from Orphan. So we'll wait to see what the stewards say at the end of this race to see what may happen there and view both guys' footage. We'll come back to the battle for 6 at the moment. My name is Jeff, right behind Clarence. So that little tussle at turn 1 brought him into this battle. So will he think of the move? Burning ERS. Looked like a better run through there. He'll get DRS through there. All Clarence do, he'll defend. No, he'll cover the racing line. Runs a little bit wide. Jeff got the inside line. Clarence the better exit, side by side through turn 3. Clarence tried to look up the inside, but Jeff had the better line through there, so he manages to hold that 6th spot. So nice move from my name is Jeff. So bit of a margin to Entei. Top 7 still haven't boxed. Banana, first guy in on those hards, but again he has that 5-second time penalty, which will, if there is a safety car at the end, maybe get removed there, but that will cost him at the end. It's Combat just sitting behind Junkyard Dog, just warming those tyres up, just making sure he doesn't want to have a mistake and lose a lot of time. You've got to be extra careful. As Giles, he's into the pits, so he's gone for the undercut on Prezzo. So you have to believe Prezzo will be in the next lap to cover him off. So Prezzo definitely on the fly on those warm mediums. Giles will definitely have to be careful on the new hards we saw last week. He struggled with the warm up and had that spin, which ultimately cost him the win. So he'll definitely have to be careful. We'll stay on board for his first sector. Needs to be nice and gentle. Just remember that when Prezzo comes in, he'll have the same issues. So just burn ERS down the straights, but just don't be overly aggressive till those tyres warm up, which will take a couple of laps for these hards. As we have the AlphaTauri, unfortunately around again. So he's on new sauce. Just took a little bit too much curve probably, and then just spun him around, but luckily no damage from him. We go back to the battle. Combat has got past Junkyard, and Prezzo is in. He's had to follow him in, and Grimmy right on the back of Jedley, but Grimmy's in as well, so he's looking for the undercut on Jedley. So Jedley will have to be in this lap to cover Grimmy off, but Grimmy had really nice pace at the end of that stint, so don't be surprised if he'll try and push on this outlap. But we'll have a look, waiting for this battle to lead. Giles coming out, he's right behind him, and remember Prezzo's got cold tyres that will have to warm up. Being ultra careful. A bit of a wiggle. So could this be Giles' best move for the race win? Burning ERS. Have to be careful though, because Prezzo won't go as quick as there's a little bit of contact. Giles just has to take it a little bit carefully through here. He's got the warmer tyres. Maybe think about a move at turn 11. Use the DRS here. Line up the better exit. Oh, definitely had a better exit than Prezzo. Will the straight be long enough? Probably not, but we'll definitely look for the main straight. Prezzo's tyres probably would start to get in the window, but Giles licking his lips. Needs to get a good exit through here. Gently into the pits, trying to hopefully stay in front of Grimmy in their little battle. Deadly burning ERS, he's going for it this lap. Down the inside. Oh, bit of contact. More contact, and he's around. Oh, unfortunate for Jedley. Did Prezzo leave him enough room? Did Giles go deep? We'll have to wait for the end of the race for that, as we go on board with Jedley. He's coming out of the pits, and he's got a decent gap to Grimmy, so it won't be as close as last time. But Giles just will have to wait a little bit to get those hards cool down a little bit. He'll be super annoyed, but he'll sort of sit behind Prezzo, so we'll see what pace he's actually got. As Jedley is also on those hard medium, on those new hards. So Giles doesn't want to happen what happened just before. He wants to try and make this car stick. Getting a nice exit through there. So I reckon he'll burn. He will. Inside easily. Jedley won't want to give it up, but he'll have to. He'll try and look for the move back on the main straight. So as we go around the final couple of corners, Jedley about half a second behind, but watch Grim. He's in about the move on the outside, fastest final sector. Oh, bit of contact there. Nearly exactly what happened the last lap around, but both drivers managed to face the same way. So this really is for the battle for the final position on the podium. So Giles already got nearly a second gap, so he's definitely got the pace, but can he close the 8-second gap to Prezzo? But we'll leave that instant to see what the stewards find after the race. So while Giles catches, it's his final battle for the podium and the banana. Obviously pitting early for those hards. They'll have a bit more wear on him, but he did show good pace on those softs, so can he match it? And with these guys battling, that will bring him back in as well as combat. Oh, and we've got the Red Bull around, orphan drop. Unfortunately, had another spin. He struggled in qualifying, keeping the car on track, and unfortunately had a spin. Hasn't dropped a position, but has pretty much taken himself out of that battle for third. Wanted to try and capitalise on it, but unfortunately won't be able to. As Jedley has found a bit of time. Giles sets fast lap 14.1, so he's definitely in hot pursuit of Prezzo at the front. So Jedley out of DRS range, so this is a good chance for Grimmy, as we've got yellows in sector 2. Basile again around, again a spot that we find a few cars just struggling at turn 9, so definitely a little bit of trouble around 8-9 there. So we've got Grimmy, as we got Clarence getting past Twitch Liddy. As Liddy, thinking about a move up the inside. Liddy on those 16 lap old hards, though they'll still be in fair enough condition, but if he's thinking about going to the end, there won't be much tyre life left on those. Battle for third now. Grimmy again, he's closed up just a half a second, and remember, Jedley won't have DRS this time around. So will Grimmy think about an attack? Both drivers similar incidents, or as we've got Basile in the pit, so that won't cause a safety car. As Grim down the inside of Jedley, there were yellow flags through there, so will he have to give that place up? No, he should be good then. As Grimmy makes the move on Jedley. So can he push away now? No one has got an on-track 3-second penalty, which is good to see. So Grimmy already increasing the gap quite a bit, already up to 6/10. So Grimmy's got pace. So will Grimmy sort of think that Giles might be a target for him? Giles sort of needs to sort of hang in with DRS here to sort of be able to come back to him. And Banana's just out of that DRS, so he's probably thinking of the move in the next couple of laps if Jedley does lose it. It's just 9/10, so he will have DRS this lap, but he won't be able to make the move on Grimmy. Sort of just hanging in there, just maybe wanting Grimmy to make a bit of a mistake to let him back up close. As Combat, he's done a 14 flat, so Combat definitely, he's got pace, so he's chasing down Banana now and looking to get back into this battle for third. Jedley about 8/10 behind. Closest battle on track at the moment. And it's for the final podium position. Front, Prezzo, after that incident with Giles, gap's come down a little bit, but still he's still been right. It's 14 laps to go. He just has to manage it as orphan drop. I think he spun again, unfortunately, so that drops him outside the 10. So what was looking for a really nice result for him, unfortunately with a couple of spins, taking him out of the 10, but still 14 laps to go. Anything can happen, and he's lost it again. Needs to be careful. Doesn't want a DNF on track. So we'll watch. So we'll let him do that. And Grimmy has got the pass, orphan drop, 10-second time penalty, extending track limits. But I believe Grimmy just set the fastest lap. So he's definitely liking the pace there on those fresh hards. As we got, I think, Aussie Powers around. Again, he's just sort of fixing himself up now, as you can see. So the gap's sort of spread out a little bit now. My name is Jeff, on the hunt for Entei. Obviously both Ferrari drivers, so will we see a bit of team orders here. Jeff on the slightly newer hard tyres. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. That was just, I believe, Aussie Powers just getting out of the way of our leading drivers. As orphan drop comes in, so he's definitely got wing damage, so he'll come in probably for a fresh set of sauce, maybe try and get them to the end. Yes, he will. So on board with these Ferrari drivers. What will these Ferrari drivers do? Will we see a bit of a switch, or will we see them battle it out? We've got a Haas around, so that's Metz around at the last corner, as Jeff's got DRS but no ARS to use. Entei able to, he didn't use much, but he's will be able to defend a little bit easier. Or as Entei has a bit of a tank slapper, or Ferraris go side by side, leaving each other plenty of room. Jeff gets through, so you definitely don't want contact with your teammate. And Ferrari currently second in the standings after round one, so you definitely don't want to be losing easy points at this early stage, especially with how tight and competitive it is throughout the field. So Entei, will he think about trying to make a move back past Jeff? I think will have DRS off that lapped car of the Haas. He does, so that will help defend, and he may get it off the front straight as well. Saving a bit of DRS. As we've got Red Bull around, so drop again, unfortunately. Entei burning a lot of ARS, sort of thinking about it, but no, couldn't think of it. Probably should have maybe saved that ARS for the next lap when Jeff didn't have DRS from the car in front. As the gaps, that battle for P3, Bananas actually got past, so Jelly might have made a little bit of a mistake there. So Combat and Banana through. So we saw the pace that Combat had on those hards, so he'll be now chasing Banana down. So and Banana's tyres 3 laps older. So can he will that make it a little bit easier for Combat at the end? Banana still having that 5-second time penalty, so Combat won't need to do it on track, but as we know, these guys are racing drivers, so they want to get their positions on track. Combat would love to get Banana for P4. We'll back to Entei, still behind his teammate. Will he look for a move again? Decides not to burn ARS this time. Just stays behind his teammate. Happy to just sit there for the time being. Oh, he did get really close behind him there, but definitely no move through there. Entei right behind him as we've got, I think Matt's just getting out of the way. We've just had a little bit of a spin, but the Ferrari's so close together. You definitely don't want to run into the back of your teammate, but Entei's definitely pushing. Entei, will he look at a move, try and get a better exit through here? He'll have DRS, he's got ARS to use. And I'm keeping an eye on that battle for P4. Combat's sort of right on the back. The Banana come down this front straight. Combat just sits behind him, but he's definitely closed that gap. As we quickly switch back to Entei. Will he try and get this move done? He's a lot closer than what he was last time. Only just over 2.5 tenths. Doesn't even burn ERS, and he's side by side. Makes the move done. Jeff thought about the outside. Entei holds the position, but good chance we'll see these guys switch positions possibly before the end of this race. So both have built up a little bit of ERS again, as Combat right on the back of Banana now. So he'll use DRS. Will he think about a move through here? Not close enough, but he'll try and line him up for the main straight. Try and get through these last couple of corners cleanly. Both were fairly smooth through there. Gap steady. You need about 4 tenths to be under about 4 tenths and a fair bit of ERS, as Joel says. It's a 13.8 and he's closed the gap down to under 5 seconds, so he's pushing to get Prezzo. So there could be a last lap battle possibly. Prezzo needs to keep the pace on, otherwise he's in danger of Giles. And Grimmy's definitely got that, at least that P3 sewn up, and he's sort of keeping pace with Joel. Just sort of dropped it back a little bit now, but he's safe from this battle for P4. Have a look at ERS now. Bananas, he's in the single digits. Combat's got a little bit more, so he might be waiting for the time that he gets a good run out of that final corner. Has a lovely run through this middle section of the track, can close the gap. Just needs to do it in the final sector. There's a lap DRS again. About 4 tenths behind the Haas in front of him, so Banana might get saved with a bit of DRS assistance down this front straight. Combat really close behind him now. Will Banana actually have DRS to defend? Joel's goes even quicker. 2 in a row, 13.7. That's Combat right behind him. Banana didn't have DRS from the car in front. Combat nearly contact there, but gets a better run through turn 1. Can he possibly line it up? Goes wide, tries to get the better exit. Through here, Banana, a little bit of a snap, but does about an equal exit, gets a little bit better exit than Combat. So he manages to hold on. Giles now under just about that 4 seconds. Always Banana, bit of an issue. Combat thought about it, but thought better of it. Wants to line it up. Facility on those softs. He does a 12.9, so I think that's going to be your fastest laps. Pretty much sewn up as we got a Red Bull around. Orphan drop. Spun again, unfortunately. As we'll ride with this battle for 4. Combat about half a second off, but Bananas might be struggling a little bit with his tyres. And it's 3/10. Yeah, Combat got a lot better of an exit. Uses ERS, DRS side by side. Banana defends the inside, but Combat was too quick through there. It makes the move stick, so he's up into P4 now. Probably the gap's probably a little bit too large with 7 laps to go to catch Grimmy. It's about 5 seconds, but Banana, yeah, he's sort of just struggling. Just a little bit, had a bit of a moment there. Oh, as we got, actually we got the safety car. Didn't realise Met's retired on track, so we got a safety car. So what will these guys do? Entei, my name is Jeff. All in for the softs. Clarence will be on the softs. So what do our leaders do? So the hards were getting twitchy. Well, that issue now sorts itself out. So we're going to have probably a 4-lap sprint, 3-lap sprint at the end. So surely these guys all will have to come in for softs. Just through that middle sector, you'll just have way too much speed. Prezzo, what does he do? He comes in. Giles follows him through. Grimmy, he took a little bit of a gamble. Oh, he comes in. He thought about it, but he comes in. Combat and Banana, what do? 2 of the oldest tyres in there. I think both of them will have to be in. They are. Jedley, he's probably a bit too far back, so he's got a 24-second gap, so this is pretty much a free pit stop for him, so he'll surely be in as well. So you're going to have every single person on soft tyres, so it's pretty much going to be a 3-lap sprint. As Aussie Power, he'll come, I think he's AI, unfortunately. So I'm assuming that AI can't maybe in for softs. There's Orphan Drop, oh, bad. Day goes from bad to worse, gets a drive through, speeding under the safety car. So he'll have to serve that when this restart happens, but he'll be at the back of the grid, unfortunately. So he can still get points. He just needs to finish, but he can still get points. So which will help the Red Bull, considering Prezzo is right at the top, and at the moment, Red Bull, I believe, will still be leading the constructors after this round is finished. So long as Prezzo can hold P1, so there's some good points, a couple of points for Orphan if you can do it, and we may see safety, as we know, safety cars breed safety cars. As Gavin Arnold in the chat, Grimmy would have run out without the safety car, so that's another issue. How short were these guys running towards the end? So this saves people with fuel. And with this field so far spread out, we're going to be a couple of laps under, so this will save those guys. So would have been possibly interesting in those last couple of laps if people were running out of fuel. But as we let the cars catch up to the back of this safety car, we'll look at the positions gained. So Prezzo and Giles, they've switched. Grimmy has held his P3, but a good battle with Combat, Banana and Deadly in that middle part. Combat has moved up a spot. Banana up 3. He's done a good job on that strategy, softs to hards, and then has sort of benefited with this safety car late. Deadly, Entei just lost a couple of spots, not necessarily their day. My name is Jeff, however, has made up 9 spots. Really nice job from near the back of the grid. So his strategy worked out, and he's definitely got a good part in this last few laps. Could he make up a few positions? He'd possibly be possibly one of the favourites for driver of the day at the end. Clarence up 3, Junkyard up 5, Twitch has lost 2, Deputy up 1, Snickers Bud up 3, and then Aussie Powers and Orphan Drop, sort of a day to forget for them, but still points on the line if they can finish with this Constructors battle. Every point can help at the end of the season, so good for these guys not to retire. They're still going, and you never know what may happen. So as we look at Pens, Orphan Drop's the only one with the drive-through, and of course Banana gets rid of his 5 seconds for speeding in pit lane, so this helps him a lot. He does obviously stay behind Combat. Combat did make that move before the safety car. So Banana, actually that works out really nicely for Banana. And we saw how quick he was on the softs at the start, so can he make a couple of moves? Hopefully this safety car should be in at the end of this lap, which will give us 3 laps of racing. Yep, 33, so if the safety car comes in this lap, 3 laps of racing, we'll have DRS on the last lap, but won't be too effective. You only have really DRS in that middle part of the lap, you won't have it at the end. As we've seen with all the moves so far, it's been right up till turn 1, cars going side by side. So it's pretty much going to be without DRS these last couple of laps. As we'll quickly look at the race director, see who have got warnings. Prezzo has got 2 warnings. Just remember one of them might have been possibly contact, but Prezzo 2 warnings. Giles has kept it clean. Grimmy has kept it clean. Combat has kept it clean except for a warning at the end. And Banana's got 1 warning and that 5 second, but which has already been served. Jedley 2 warnings at the start. So warnings may play a bit of a factor, but not a super hard track to cut corners, being how aggressive some of these curbs are around here. But hopefully we should see the signal as we do. Safety car is in this lap. So what will Prezzo do? Will he decide to leave it late, go after the final corner, or will he try and bolt early? It is a decent run down to turn 1, so he doesn't want to go early and then have a moment, which will let Giles, and Giles will definitely want to try and get that position back after both of those guys made contact just after the pit stops. So when does Prezzo go? And Giles need to be right on the back of him. And Prezzo's gone now, and he's done a really nice job. He's gapped the field very nicely as we've got a yellow flag. McLaren at the back has spun. As Prezzo, as we look at the back, Combat thinking about a move on Grimmy. Didn't get the move done. We'll go through the back of the field. Oh, bit of contact there. Haas and the Aston, but no moves there as Prezzo has done a really nice job. Already gapped Giles by a second. So ace that restart. So what can Giles do this final couple of laps? ERS guys can freely burn with only 3 laps to go. Grimmy hanging in there. So if there's a mistake from one of these drivers, people can capitalise very easily. Very tight, no one looked for a move just yet. Grimmy staying right behind Giles. Obviously no DRS this lap. Looking at DRS burn, all of them are roughly the same. Grimmy decides to burn now. Prezzo fastest lap, 12.4. Grimmy thinking about a move. Oh, thought about it around the outside line. He'll get a bit of a better exit through here. Giles was sort of aware to it. Can he get a better exit through here? About even. Giles get a slightly better one. So that will defend him off. Grim, could that have been his one and only attempt? Had to burn a fair bit of ERS. He has gapped Combat a little bit, so he's got a bit of room to manoeuvre. But Giles now, it's looking Prezzo's going to win again. And Giles, he's looking to having to defend second. So Grimmy definitely looking on the attack. Joel's probably maybe just struggling a little bit on this restart. We've got both Ferraris further down within 3/10, as you can see in the background, right at the back. But we'll stay on this battle as the Alpines switch positions. Grimmy sort of had a bit of a sloppy one. Combat's right there. They're both burning. Will Combat dive down the inside? No, he'll stick behind. As we come across to start the final lap, Combat did set the fastest purple final sector. So he's got pace. So this battle for second could go to anybody. One little mistake could cost you a podium. Combat right on the back. Fortunately can't do much, being that it's a one car line only through this first sector. Giles sort of got the gap a little bit from Grimmy. So what will happen? Prezzo up the front, managed to get that gap at the restart, has been challenged. Giles got a little bit of a gap. This is where DRS will kick in. Combat, will he think about it? Orphan retired from the session. Unfortunately crashed out at the last lap. Will stay on this battle. I think Grim might hold on to third here, but we'll come across the line with the winner. Prezzo did it in Spa, and he'll do it again. So he's the winner of the Dutch GP. Very nice drive from him. Giles gets second. Grimmy holds on to third. So nice effort from Grimmy and Giles. Close. Combat just missing out on a podium finish. Banana P5. Jedley comes across the line P6. Entei and Jeff 7 and 8. Good battle for the Ferraris and good points again, 7th and 8th. So we'll just... Jeff has been given the game's driver of the day, which is a fair shout, considering that he came from, I believe, 16th or 17th to get into the top 10. Really nice job from him. But with our winner now, Prezzo. That's 2 in a row. So 60 points off the bat, and I believe he did have fastest lap at the end there. So that's another point for his haul. So perfect way to get his championship run off. But nice battles in that top 5. As we look at the results now, Prezzo did get that fastest lap in the end, so he wins ahead of Giles and Grimmy. That's your podium. Combat and Banana, top 5. Jedley, Entei, Jeff, Clarence, Twitchley rounds out the top 10. So good points from Mercedes there in 6th and 9th. Haas, Junkyard, bit of issues at the start, but he's managed to recover well, get some good points. Deputy in P12, Snickersbud, Aussie Powers, Orphan Drop, Metz and Basile. So a few of these guys at the back just sort of struggled, had a few issues, but the main guy, Prezzo, 2 in a row, fastest lap. Can anyone beat him? We'll see what stewards have to say about that turn 1 incident. Very close, hard racing. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out for Giles, but I have to say it was a really good race, all things considering. Nice tough battles there. Good racing around turn 1. Very tricky track to pass. But what I'll do now is I'll get these guys into the party chat and do interviews. So just give me one moment and I'll be back with the interviews. Alright, so while we're waiting for the other drivers to join, we'll talk to our race winner, Prezzo. Again,
G'day.
second week in a row, you and Joel's got away at the start, sort of kept side by side. Good battling between you two. A bit of an incident at turn one, but you managed to sort of stretch after that. That late safety car sort of hindered you a little bit, but you managed the perfect restart and sort of brought it home with the fastest lap. So, how'd you thought your race went?
No, I thought it was pretty good. Like, really intense battle with Jace at the start of the race. That was a lot of fun. Like, just nose to tail for like I think it was like something like just 18 laps or something, and yeah, like nothing between us. A lot of fun. But yeah, after that, I just basically tried to manage my fuel because I noticed I'd slightly underfueled the car a bit, and I needed to just lift and coast in a few places and short shift here and there just to make sure I got to the end. But when that safety car came out, it was like, oh dear, this is how we lose the race. But yeah, managed to restart well, so yeah, got fastest lap as well. So that's Giga.
Yeah, awesome job. Obviously, 2 from 2. Very good start from you. Do you think you can keep this run going?
Doubt it, but if we can keep it up, it'd certainly be like something I'd like. But yeah, no, I doubt it. I'm normally someone who's just win it or bin it, so to speak. I don't really give a crap about championship. I'm just here to have fun.
Yeah, but no, awesome job from you. For a second win in a row, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, mate.
All right, as we talk to our third place getter, Grimmy. Awesome battle with a few of the guys in that top five. Managed to get past Jedley there and sort of hang on. The third, that safety car sort of brought you in contention with Joel's. Couldn't quite make the move done, but first podium of the season. How you feeling? Yeah. Chat can't quite hear you, so just see if you can go to your voice settings in the party chat and just allow your voice. Pretty sure that would be the issue. Are you, are you PS4, PS5? Yeah, so you can just go the card, the party chat, go the 3 dots, voice chat settings, and then you should see a share your voice, and and that should change it to allow, and we should be able to hear. Yep.
Allow, there we go.
All right, just let us know if you can hear him now. You should be able to.
Yes, can I be heard?
Just waiting. Yeah, got him. Cool. All right, so I'll pretty much ask the same thing again. Just explain again how your race went.
Yeah, it was a good race. My pace in the midsection was stellar. I think I was fastest man on track for a good portion of that race. My pace on the mediums when I was catching up to Jedley there was a split second moment where Jedley had a sort of lost traction in the final corner. Had the choice whether to commit to the overtake or dive into the pits. I went for the pits, but I think I should have gone for the overtake because I ended up having a shocking outlap on the hards. But yeah, stoked with the first podium, but I feel it could have been more. The pace was there. I had a rough qualifying session. Um, yeah, I felt I had the pace to contend for the very top spot, but got trapped behind a couple of slower cars most of the race. But can't complain at all. First podium was good, and it was a great race.
Yeah, really good race, and your battles, they're really tight. I know a couple of the other drivers did have issues with that pit coming out into traffic, but yeah, as you said,
Yeah.
you handled it well. Sort of safety car brought you back into it, but yeah, that good battle with Jedley, and then obviously Banana Combat was in there as well. But yeah, it was really nice to watch.
Yes, those opening exchanges were certainly very entertaining. Battle with Banana, Wombat, and I think Jedley was certainly very intense. And a couple of hairy moments, so very talented drivers all around to keep that all clean and fair.
Yeah, we saw a few drivers sort of lose it in quali, and then a couple in the race as well. Was it just sort of tricky conditions out there, just in terms of just traction through some of the
Yeah,
slower to meet bed corners?
I'm guessing. Well, I don't use traction control, so it's certainly difficult in those banked corners to get it absolutely right. I had a spin in qualifying from that. My best guess would be tire temperatures. If you don't run the rear tire pressures rather, low enough around here, those rears really overheat, and they'll absolutely send you into a spin. So my best guess would be tire temps, but I managed that quite well, along with tire wear as well.
Yeah, no, it's definitely hard around here. But all things considered, congratulations on your first podium of the season. We'll look forward to you seeing next week, and then hopefully you can be up here a few more times.
Yeah, absolutely. Stoked with the first podium, and I intend on being in here a lot more often. So thank you.
Yeah, all good. All right, thanks.
Thanks, mate.
All
Have
right,
a good one.
yeah, you too. And this is where we'll end our stream tonight. Couldn't quite get Joel's in at the moment. Hopefully, I can sort of get him sorted, ready for next week. But yeah, awesome race to commentate over. So we'll see you next week. Just checking the calendar, we got Italy. So following the triple header with real life F1, so Italy. Pretty much, you're pretty much going to see a lot of these guys running very low downforce, but Italy's always highly entertaining. So until next week, I've been Scotty. I'll see you next week.